The hallway buzzed with laughter and chatter as students poured out of class. Emma walked quietly, clutching her books close to her chest. She had always been the quiet one, the kind of girl who blended into the background. But today was different. Today, she had promised herself she would not allow anyone to push her around anymore. Just as she was about to turn the corner toward her locker, a sharp tug yanked her backward. Her books tumbled to the ground. Standing behind her was Ryan, the loudest and cruelest boy in school, with his pack of friends snickering behind him. "What's the matter, shy girl? Scared?" he jeered, pulling at her sleeve. Emma's heart pounded. She tried to move away, but before she could, Ryan grabbed her shirt and with one swift jerk, tore it. The sound of fabric ripping echoed down the hallway. Gasps erupted. Her face flushed with humiliation as she clutched the torn fabric to cover herself. Laughter from his friends rang in her ears, each chuckle cutting deeper than the last. Emma's vision blurred, not with tears, but with a fire that had been waiting too long to burn. She dropped her books, clenched her fists, and for the first time, didn't shrink back. In one sudden motion, she turned on Ryan. His smug grin didn't have time to fade before her fist connected with his nose. A sickening crack followed, and his body lurched backward, hands flying to his face as blood poured through his fingers. Silence filled the hallway. The laughter died instantly. Ryan's friends stepped back in shock. No one moved. No one had ever seen Emma fight back, let alone land a punch like that. She stood there, breathing heavily, her knuckles stinging, but her spirit soaring. The same kids who once looked at her as weak now stared in awe. But that single act of courage didn't end her battles. Instead, it opened new ones. Ryan's family was furious, demanding the school punish Emma. Teachers questioned her, trying to decide if her reaction had crossed the line. Some students whispered that she had gone too far, while others secretly cheered for her. At home, Emma's mother sat her down. "I don't ever want you to think violence is the first solution," she said softly, bandaging her daughter's scraped knuckles. "But I am proud you didn't let yourself be destroyed. Sometimes, standing up is the only way to survive." The days that followed were hard. Ryan returned to school with a cast across his nose, his pride shattered. He and his friends avoided Emma, though their glares never stopped. Rumors spread. Some called her a hero. Others called her reckless. Emma struggled with the weight of both. She faced detentions, meetings with the principal, and the judgment of classmates who didn't understand the years of torment she had endured. But she also found something. She had never expected allies. Other students who had suffered in silence began to talk to her, confiding their own stories of bullying. They saw her not just as the quiet girl anymore, but as someone who had dared to fight back when no one else could. Emma realized something powerful. Courage wasn't about never being afraid. It was about what you did in the moment fear tried to own you. She hadn't wanted to hit Ryan, but when he stripped her of her dignity, she refused to let him take anything more. Months later, the school held an assembly about bullying. Emma was asked to speak. Standing on stage, she looked out at hundreds of faces, some supportive, some skeptical, but all listening. Her voice shook at first, but grew steady. She told them about the years of being mocked, the loneliness, and the moment she finally stood up for herself. She didn't glorify the punch. Instead, she explained what it meant to reclaim her power. "Everyone has a breaking point," she said. "But we shouldn't have to reach it before someone listens. I stood up for myself in the only way I knew how. But what if instead of laughing, someone had stood beside me earlier? What if kindness had spoken louder than cruelty?" The room was quiet. Even Ryan, sitting in the back with his arms crossed, couldn't meet her gaze. From that day, things began to change. Slowly, but noticeably. Students started reporting bullying instead of ignoring it. Teachers paid more attention to what happened in hallways, not just classrooms. And for Emma, something even greater happened. She no longer felt invisible. She had broken more than Ryan's nose that day. She had broken the silence. The challenge she faced wasn't just a torn shirt or a bully's sneer. It was years of being underestimated, overlooked, and ridiculed. And the resolution wasn't just one punch, but the courage to transform that moment into a message. Emma walked taller now. She knew she would still face whispers, still face glares, and still face challenges. But she had discovered something no bully could take from her, the strength that had been inside her all along. And as she passed through the same hallways where laughter once cut her down, she saw something different in the eyes of others. Not mockery, not pity, but respect. Because when they remembered Emma, they didn't just remember the shy girl anymore. They remembered the day she refused to be broken,